I'm Bruce Marshall, and this is a Marshall Minute Brampton Now Update special report on landlord and tenant issues. Landlords, tenants, COVID conflict. COVID-19 has opened a lot of wounds, not the least of which is conflict that is happening between landlords and tenants over rent. Some landlords are in a position to help tenants, for now. Others aren't. The cash flow of rents is what they use to keep their business going. If the rents dry up, so too do payments to creditors. But on the renter side, you can't give what you haven't got, and legions of us have not got. Evictions have been put on hold by the provincial government, so you can't be kicked out for non-payment of rent for now. And as far as any eviction letter or document goes, a tenant has a right to a landlord-tenant board hearing before that's allowed. However, that doesn't mean that rent isn't still owing. All of this promises to be a huge problem for bodies like the Landlord and Tenant Board, which will be hearing cases from COVID-19 perhaps for years, maybe even decades. Some people, however, would like a quicker resolution to the conflict. They'd like to come to an agreement and move on. For those people, a mediator may be who they want to engage. And it just so happens that my pal Bill McBain, well known in Peel political and social justice circles, is a mediator, professionally trained and accredited. So I sat down with Bill and asked him about how the process of mediation would work in the landlord and tenant relationship. Bill, tell me what your group of mediators is focused on right now.
Right now, we're focused on disputes involving residential and commercial tenancy and landlord issues. COVID-19's put a lot of pressure on the system, and they're grappling with the challenges of how to move forward.
So, Bill, have the rules of the landlord and tenant relationship changed entirely? Is it like a whole new ball game?
I don't think anybody knows what the rules are now, because the changes are so profound because of COVID-19.
Yeah.
And the best way is for people to work amongst themselves to find agreements. The phrase you keep hearing over and over again, and it's a beautiful phrase, absolutely accurate. We are all in this together. That means not just tenants. It means landlords. It means property owners. It means small business people. It means large business. Everyone who has a space either to rent or they want to be lessees or renters need to find a security of place so they can move forward. And it's a lot easier and a lot less painful, and the relations tend to be better when they do it through mediation.
So tell me then, what is mediation, and what's the difference between using a mediator and going to court?
Mediation is third-party facilitation. So there'll be various parties in a dispute, two or more. The mediator, either in the same room or separately, works between the two to find agreement. They are neutral, they are disinterested. Their only interest is helping these parties find agreement so they can move ahead. And mediation is a lot less expensive than lawyers and courts. Mediation is an agreement between people. It's a dialing down of a dispute, and you're not taking it out into well, I'll tell you the big difference. The big difference is if you go before a tribunal or a judge, you make your case and your lawyers make your case, but the decision is made by the judge. And once it's done, it's done. It is a zero-sum game, and you have no idea what's going to happen. You might think you have a great case. The judge may not think so, or the jury may not think so. But in mediation, you have a case to make that's all your own, and you have an agreement to reach that is made between the parties. And therefore, for many people, it's a much less expensive and a much more effective way to move forward. So the provincial government has put restrictions on various issues around landlord and tenant relations right now, such as restricting access to evictions. And there are tribunals to deal with issues out there. Obviously, they're restricted by COVID-19. Afterwards, the waiting lists will be very large, likely.
I hear stories about the expected backlogs. Do you think it could take years to get through the landlord and tenant system?
Yes, I can't imagine it being otherwise given the situation we're in.
So, Bill, tell me about your group of mediators and how I can get in touch.
It's a group of mediators that we all actually knew each other in school. You can get in touch with us by looking up mediation.ca. Or search the Fusion Mediation Group, and you can also find us on Facebook. And soon, since we're just getting rolling, you'll be finding us on Twitter and LinkedIn and all of those places as well. You can reach us through 647-298-7637. That's Fusion Mediation at 647-298-7637, which comes to me. And we will get back to you in no later than 2 business days.
Thanks so much for this, Bill. You know, it sounds like mediation may be a viable alternative for a lot of people.
Mediation is in many cases is as much about the relationship between the parties, that there be something there to move forward with and to build on. In court actions or other actions, it's often very confrontational, and we are doing our best to restore relationships and give people a basis to move forward.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.